We are not just talking about intelligence, but superintelligence. Nick, it seems that the topic gets more attention nowadays. Do you see it more as a concern or a threat, you personally?
I think it's good compared to where things were 2 years ago. The whole field was almost entirely neglected.
What's the state of privacy today?
I think it's actually fairly good. There are so many defenders of privacy. My concern is that we also need to protect publicness. The internet is about sharing and being open and about millions and billions of people being able to have a voice, and I want to protect that as well.
As the creator and inventor of PGP, you probably don't need any further introduction. Phil, why is it still that complicated to convince people to secure their very private information?
Well, I think that people are coming around. There's more awareness today than there was some years ago. I think the Snowden revelations have done a lot to increase awareness.
You found a way to put love and data together somehow. Tell me how.
Well, we've been looking at various sources of data science, and what's really interesting is one of the most sort of active fields is dating science, right? Which is looking at dating site data to figure out what makes a good match.
A single European digital market, you have some issues with that. What is it?
Maybe we can show the way forward with best practice in terms of how we can be digital in Europe, but it absolutely must be in the context of the global. So I don't want to sign up to anything that's going to stop me being able to be a global digital citizen.
Frank just returned from the floor. Frank, what was the highlight of the day for you?
One of the highlights for me was we went underwater. So we had a professional diver who showed how to use software and 3D mapping actually to map the ocean. Just recently had the case of FBI versus Apple. So this kind of discussion, what's your opinion about that?
I side with Apple here. It's a new day. You can't use the old analogies of saying, well, I can bang down a door of a building. Because once you make a key to open one phone, you make it to open all phones.
You were talking about the driving forces in China. Tell me a bit about that.
So China, is a very complicated market, but a very fascinating market for everyone. And we see some very major trends. And one of those is the growing affluency. So there's a growing middle class in China that already today is around 300 to 350 million people.
The most important part of our platform is that it's decentralized. In other words, our purpose is to give users control over their own money.
Am I right that you wouldn't restrict that to money transfer?
Exactly. So fundamentally, our technology is a contracting platform. And if you look at what happens in the economy today, in fact, at any time, it's all about transactions.
You challenged the banking fees. How do you do that?
So, back in 2009, I realized that I'm paying very high fees, and I didn't know that, right? And in addition, I asked my friends how much fees you are paying, and none of my friends knew. And then I figured out that this is essentially the biggest secret in the industry.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
No, I don't have any siblings, but I have two cool buddies, Now and Romeo.
The Internet of Things is huge, not only in terms of number of devices. What's the impact to the industry?
Well, I think first of all, who cares about the number of devices? What's interesting is what you do with those devices. And the impact is in every industry. We have test beds operating at the Industrial Internet Consortium today in healthcare devices, in manufacturing and transportation.
Do you share the opinion of somebody like Elon Musk or Stephen Hawking that they see a huge concern and even a huge threat for the whole humanity?
I think there is a big threat, also a big hope. And really the net result of that is a huge challenge for us to try to get our act together.
We all know about the Silicon Valley, but maybe in the future we know a bit more about the Crypto Valley. You are the inventor of it. Tell us a bit about that.
That's right. We recognized early on that one company can do something, but you can do a lot more if you have a whole cluster of companies.
I guess standardization would be also key to that kind of process, right?
Yes, the problem with standardization, however, is if you do it too early, you ignore the opportunities and you don't take advantage of what you learn from actually building test beds.
Are you a cyborg?
Yeah, I think so.
Why is that?
Well, I have two RFID transponder implants that I've had since 2005, and I also have two new prototypes.